I did something today I don't usually do, and that's watched an Indy Car race on a road course. Yes, I watch NASCAR on road courses on TV, the Indy Car race from Sears Point, but most people watch my vlogs know I'm a NASCAR guy. I don't deny it, but I watched the Indy Car race today. I didn't even know it was on until about 5 minutes before it came on air. A friend of mine called me, wanted to know what channel number NBC Sports Network was on. I told her, so I thought, there's not much on. I'm going to flip over and watch it. And when I watch the IndyCar races, I watch them. There's two NASCAR owners involved in IndyCar, Roger Penske and Chip Ganassi. And frankly, since some of my NASCAR Injustice vlogs have been some of my most viewed, I may have seen one in that IndyCar race that tops them all. And I've been to a lot of short tracks. I've seen what I consider bad calls. I've seen bad calls both in person at NASCAR races and on TV. But what happened on the very last pit stop of the race, both Scott Dixon and Will Power were pitted nose to nose, or nose to tail. Will Power was in front of Dixon. If you watch this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Scott Dixon's crew completed the stop first, and he was leaving. Well, one of Will Power's crew members was nonchalantly taking the rear tire, holding it to his side instead of in front of him. And somehow it appeared that Dixon's car just barely caught the tire. Now, the important thing here, 3 crew members did go down. They all did get up on their own power, and it appeared they stayed at the track. They may seek treatment later, but certainly nothing life-threatening or very serious at all, because they were all up on their own power complaining of soreness, which is understandable. But the tire went flying. That's part of pit road. It's happened. So sometimes with tragic results, somebody's getting hit on pit road. But here's what I don't get. As they come out of the pits, the caution was coming out, which did not affect the pit stops. It was at Sears Point, the same road course NASCAR runs, although I think in a slightly different configuration. But they go back green after there's a wreck or something, after they get it cleaned up. That's not important. But here's the deal. Scott Dixon drives for Chip Ganassi. Scott Dixon and LL Castroneves, who's driving for Roger Penske, are battling for the points championships. Castroneves wasn't having a very good day, although he was still running on the lead lap. But after they go back to green, they announce drive-through penalty for Dixon for the pit road incident. Literally drive through the pits, and they've got some, I don't know, crazy ideas, avoidable contact. Frankly, there's so much contact in that race, I thought I was watching Bristol last night. I mean, it was crazy for those type cars. And Wally Dallenbach, and I sure hope he stays with NBC or does the NASCAR races, his reaction was priceless. He went, what? Now, they interviewed a Ganassi team member, and he was rather diplomatic about it. They interviewed Tim Cindric. I don't remember the Ganassi team member's name. Tim Cindric, who is president of Penske Racing, and he was kind of non-committal, if I remember right. But I don't agree with the penalty. I mean, I've done some NASCAR Injustice vlogs, such as Denny Hamlin Fine. In fact, I think that's my most watched. And after the race, they interviewed both Scott Dixon and Will Power. Scott Dixon said the guy walked into him, and the guy did not appear, he was not hurrying to get out of the way, the crew member for Will Power. Was there something set up? Maybe he thinks that he could hold Dixon up and get Power out in front of him. No, he wasn't trying to get hit. No man's trying to get hit. I won't claim that. But I don't agree with the penalty. Scott Dixon, when he was interviewed after the race, called it, I quote, a dick move. He'll probably get fined. several people criticizing the consistency of penalties in Indy. I think it's Indy Car. It's been RL, it's been card, it's been everything, but I don't get it. I think it was a bad call. It actually allowed Castroneves to increase his points lead. Dixon did make up a few spots. There were one or two more wrecks that got him up further up in the field, but still finished behind Castroneves. Now, I'm going to say this. Willpower, I'm going to borrow a phrase from Darrell Waltrip the year Rusty Wallace turned him at the All-Star race. Borrow part of a phrase. Willpower, I hope you choke on that win. And Elio Castroneves, if the difference in the championship between you and Scott Dixon, if it would have been different, if Dixon won that race and you finished where you finished, I hope you choke on that championship. Now, if that race don't make any difference, I don't have a problem with it. Castroneves did have a lead going in, and even if Dixon had won the race, would have still had a lead where he was running, which is fine. But bad call by Indy Car officials. Disclaimer, strictly my opinion. I know I'm a little long, but so be it.